Frag Tag Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of Frag Tag Radio. Another retrospect, actually.
Retrospect, yes.
Retrospect number 2.
Dose.
Here with you today, Pradius.
Matterafact.
And there it is. So our first retrospect was on the Atari 2600. This time, moving it forward a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. To, I guess, the next major console
Taking it
in
to
that time area.
The NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. You know, I actually announced on Twitter that our next retrospect was going to be on the NES. And I had more than one tweet, surprisingly, saying,
Well, I should hope so.
what is an NES?
Oh, whoa. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That saddens me inside. I should are they like 18 years old? Like
14? Who knows, you know?
Yeah, all right, whatever. Thanks, our listeners. And the tweens.
Listeners of all ages.
Yeah, whatever. You're good.
But
Well, now they'll know.
So, yeah. Originally, it was called something other than the Nintendo?
In Japan, it was released in 84 as a Famicom.
Right.
And it had more features than what our version had. It had a built-in mic.
Of course.
In the second controller. I know they got all the cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I believe they also had access to a disk drive, like a separate disk drive, kind of like the 64DD.
Right.
That was rumored. It came out in Japan for a little bit, never over here again, of
Yeah.
course. But in 85, we got the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah, we
NES. Dropped hot, New York.
Yeah, we did.
And ever since then, it was released with, I think the original package was the system, Rob. I don't know if you guys remember that robot that you could play a game with. I forgot the name of the game. But the Mario and Duck Hunt, and of course the Zapper, and 2 controllers.
Right.
So,
Console came with Mario and Duck Hunt.
normal. And it came like that for
Infamously.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And originally, from what I understand, is when Nintendo first started putting NESs into toy shops, nobody wanted nothing to do with them because of the video game crash prior.
Right.
And it got to the point where Nintendo said, hey, if you don't sell any of these, we'll buy them back full price, no money lost. So they were very brave and bold with their strategy because they believed in it, and it did well in Japan the year before. So once the toy makers saw that and they realized, hey, these guys are actually going to back it up, you know, they're not BSing, and they started selling and flying off shelves, then that's when it really took off. And other than that, there was a huge library of games.
Huge.
And the system itself will sold over.
Unprecedented.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Atari had a lot. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But 61 million units sold overall, I believe.
PS2 had a lot.
It did. I like to think that PS2 is like
360 had a lot.
our generation of the NES because it lasted so long. It was like one of those things that little brother or little sister would have, and you just kind of pass it on.
Yeah.
But I went on to 94, I believe, or 95 when they eventually stopped making it. And that, of course, was in 93 they introduced the top-loading NES, which was similar to, the Super Nintendo.
Right.
So they just kind of cleaned it up a bit. But once again, though, it's kind of like the Atari with Nintendo. It comes down to the games.
Yep.
And what was available.
You look for that Nintendo seal of quality.
Yeah, and sometimes I wonder why they put that on some of these games. Was it LJN, the little rainbow? They did a lot of Marvel games, and it was just really bad games.
Yeah, well, I remember looking at the seal of quality when I was a kid and be like, all the games have it, so
yeah,
what does that really mean?
Exactly, right? Anybody can get it, right?
But looking back on it now, it really did mean something.
It did, because they had a lockout chip that would prevent, other companies making games for the system without their approval.
Right.
And they told the developers, hey, you have this many chips to make just this many games. And that was it. And a lot of developers got upset because they realized that, this thing's a gold mine, it's taken off, and their hands are tied behind their back because they can only release like 2 games a year.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, it's a good thing they did because, or else the same thing would have happened. What happened with Atari? Just flooded the market with horrible games that nobody wanted.
Nobody wants horrible games.
No, we don't need another crash.
So, some of your favorites?
Oh, well, some of my favorite, Dino Ricky.
Dino Ricky.
Got this at a yard sale when I was very little. And it's a top-down. Imagine a top-down shooter, only you're a caveman throwing rocks or like tomahawks at bugs or dinosaurs and jumping over like ponds and stuff. It's a hard game, but once you get a hang of it, you can go far and have mad fun.
Mad fun.
Mad fun. Yeah.
So, Goonies, the movie never had a sequel. How did the game get one?
I never really understood that because I remember renting this when I was little and seeing the movie and thought, oh, a sequel must be coming out to the movie.
Yeah.
So I got super excited, but, of course, nothing ever happened.
So is there a story to the game?
You have to rescue, you play Mikey, and you have to rescue the other Goonies and then save a mermaid.
A mermaid?
A mermaid, yes.
Oh.
Welcome to Goonies.
Well, I see they're keeping it realistic.
I see, yeah. It's a fun game, though. It reminds me a lot of...
Baby Ruth?
Hey, you guys. It reminds me a lot of Zelda and Shadowgate. Because... Well, Zelda 2, I'll say. Because it's side-scrolling. You use your yo-yo to take down a lot of the bad guys.
Chip and Dale?
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Aw, Jank.
Yeah, another good one.
Classics.
A lot of these games I rented when I was little.
Right.
Because, back then we were Blockbuster everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And now that, I'm older and I can actually rebuy these games and play them again, it's been a blast. Strider. Everybody thinks of Strider as, the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 fighter. I'm sure a lot of people don't really know that, or the Sega Genesis Strider, which is great, based on the arcade. But the NES had a version that was based on the...
now you got the reboot from Double Helix.
Yeah, which is a great game. Someone needs to finish it or at least play it. Just saying.
It's all right.
Yeah, but this is based on the what do you call it? The Japanese comic book what do you call that? Magna? I don't know. Well, it's a Japanese comic book that's based off of the NES version is.
Right.
And it's pretty good actually. This game was pretty advanced for its time because you had to go find passcodes, floppy disk, and to unlock new areas. Then you had to go back and just like the new ones, find new equipment.
Right.
And go back and forth. So at the time, it was pretty good. It's pretty deep. That's probably why when I rented it, I had no idea what I was doing at the time. But, of course, there's always the infamous Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people...
And the second one.
Yeah, the second one, that's not going to get me started. First one, I got this, and I was just so happy it was a turtle game. I didn't care. But when the second one came out based on the arcade... That was it. I never even played this one anymore, and I've actually been looking to try to find that game again. But
both of them were good.
They were. I could never really.
Got Ghostbusters?
No, I don't.
Oh.
For reasons that people probably already know.
Or don't. If you don't know, getting to the top of the tower where Zool is at is impossible.
It is.
There's just no way. Oh, I need to look on YouTube, see if there's a video of anybody who actually made it.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Probably 6 hours long.
Who knows? All I know is I played it so many times. Yeah. And every time I got to the part where I'd have to enter the tower and I make it to floor number 4 or 5.
Yep.
And it was over.
Those ghosts. They were just a chain of ghosts. They would not stop.
And it's like
every time you moved, they would move.
Yeah, they were always going to catch up to you.
It was like in Mario when you look at a Boo, it freezes.
Yeah.
And this, it seemed like when you move forward, it moved forward towards you. So progress was really slow and not very steady.
What were you supposed to do there? I still don't know to this day.
Oh, man, I was watching something online. There's an obscene number of floors you have to go up.
Yeah.
And I don't know how anybody did it unless you had a Game Genie. If it even worked on that. Broken.
I had a Game Genie, but I never used it on that.
I just had it for Super Nintendo.
I had one for that too.
Did you? Yeah.
And PS2.
I never got that far.
I was Game Shark on PS2.
Yeah, I was about to say, plugged into the memory card slot, didn't it? Yeah. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. But Nintendo, like I was saying, they have those chips, the 10NES chip that, block people out. People like Tengen or Tengen, however you want to pronounce it, these crazy black little cartridges. They found a way around it. I think they, reverse engineered it or something like that. And they were able to release their own games for a little while. Underneath Nintendo, until Nintendo got noticed and took them to court, and it was a whole big mess. like normal. And, you know, like Bible games, religious games, they got around it. Theirs were like blue or yellow, and they were just different designs, not like your standard, you know, cartridge.
Right.
But, and Battletoads.
Battletoads, that was a classic right
This
there.
is a great game.
That's been lots of rumors that it's getting rebooted.
I wish they would do that. Have 4-player, or at least 3 for all 3 frogs.
Trade West.
Trade West, yeah. Well, it was developed by Rare.
Yeah. Why doesn't it have the Rare logo on there?
I don't know. But when you boot it up, it does.
Trade West.
If you can get these to boot up. Who remembers
Blowing underneath
blowing
the
in
shirt.
those guys? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Put it under your shirt and blow through the
Yeah.
shirt.
Yep. And it's funny, too, because I've read online you're not supposed to do that. It's not recommended. Moisture from your breath gets on there. But I'll be damned if it doesn't work every time.
Yeah.
I could take alcohol and, you know, water with a Q-tip and clean these, you know.
Oh, plus, I mean, how is the moisture getting through your shirt?
I don't know. Maybe that way's the surefire way.
Yeah.
I remember friends did that, and I never did it. I just balls to the wall blowing that thing.
Like a harmonica.
I mean, it pretty much was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Playing that shit like a fiddle.
Yep. It worked, though. I don't care what they say. You might have to go through a couple NES decks, but you'll be all right.
Oh, Batman.
Batman. Oh, Sunsoft makes great music for the NES. I just want to say that. And this Batman game, based on the, was it 89, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
It's a really good game. And they released a sequel, too. Man, what's it called? It has the Joker on the cover. But that also is a really good game. Sunsoft did a really good job with the Batman franchise. That was probably the last good Batman game until...
The Battletoads and Double Dragon, was that on NES?
That was, I believe, on Super Nintendo and Genesis. Yeah, that came out later.
Okay.
And I think really the only difference is it's like the same levels as Battletoads. Only you can pick between, what's his name? Billy and...
Dudes from Double Dragon?
Yeah. You can see how memorable they are. But
Yeah.
RC Pro-Am, remember that?
Kung Fu, Tetris.
Yeah, well, Tetris, of course. But I think a lot of people remember Tetris mostly from Game Boy, to be honest with you.
People remember Tetris from all sorts of places.
I mean, I guess you're right.
Tetris is everywhere.
It is. Oh, Willow. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Willow, but you should check it out. And this game is just like a Zelda. You ever seen that? Mad Mardigan? Val Kilmer?
I don't think I played the game.
Oh, well, I mean, you've seen the movie, though, right?
Right.
Yeah. Imagine Zelda just in the Willow universe. Top down, walking around, find a sword, find a shield, talk to some people. Stuff happens.
Slice stuff up.
Pretty much, yeah. Maybe get some magic from Morgana.
Oh, a little spell here and there.
A little bit.
Super Mario 2.
Yeah. Oh, you know, that's a funny thing is Mario's.
And Mario 3, yeah.
You know, Mario 3, Mario 2, and Mario 2 was released in Japan as Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels.
Right.
But it was too hard for us Americans over here. So they just brought it over underneath. It was a different game entirely, and the Japanese name, I can't remember how to pronounce it. But basically, they just took the skins off, put, you know, the characters we know, Princess Toad, Luigi, and Mario, in there, and just called it a Mario game. That's why they have, I mean, that's why it's so different. But a lot of characters, enemies that were introduced in Mario 2, you still see around today.
Right.
And in Japan, when they released Super Mario 2, they called it Super Mario USA. So it was our version over there. Yeah, so... But I mean, that's got to be actually my favorite one just because it is so different.
Right.
And I mean, they all have their own attributes, each character you play as.
Oh, Mario 3 was the shiz too.
Yeah, when that came out, remember the Wizard?
Yeah.
It was the bomb. Fred Savage. What's up?
Getting your suit, flying and whatnot.
The whole movie, I swear, was a commercial for Nintendo.
Well, it was.
Especially when it got to the Power Glove. That kid was rocking that out.
Oh, man. I don't know anybody who owned one of those. But...
I didn't either. To me, that was like, wow, Power Glove. And I watch videos and people playing with it, and I'm like, wow, it's not really practical at all. Like, you know, it's just something to sell us on.
Yeah, pretty much. And there wasn't that many games that used it either.
No, not a whole lot. There was a whole bunch of Fahedrals they released during that time just to try to cash in on everything.
Yeah.
I remember there was one that you could like use your hand motions. It's like a really early Connect, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
You could wave your hands and jump and throw a fireball. But they had all kinds of, actually. They had the arcade stick, the action pad. A lot came out with it. Remember the running pad?
Yeah.
For track and field? Boy, I remember I went over to a friend's house. He had that thing. I thought he was the greatest person ever, man. Sitting down. We didn't even run. We just got down. Just. That was the bomb.
Just beating on it.
We were. He had to. That's how he won.
So, this was back before traditional joysticks here.
Yeah, way before.
Bumpers, none of that. You
No.
had the A, the B, a D-pad, select, and start.
Yeah. And it's funny too because select's gone nowadays. Like you don't see it's like back or like menu. You know.
Yeah.
They got rid of that. But I think that controller was actually based off of the Time and Watch games. Those little fold-up games that Nintendo had in Japan. I don't know if you remember those at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just took that whole principle and just like, we'll put it on the controller. Yeah. And it worked out well. The only thing I don't really like, though, now that I'm older, these just sharp corners. Sharp corners on the head. But other than that, though.
No, what they were thinking.
I know. Yeah, 85.
Well, when you're holding it, I guess it was...
You know.
It was what it was. They could have rounded the top a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's the Super Nintendo took care of all that.
Yeah. Pretty much it did.
Yeah.
The original D-pad.
Yeah, original controller. Yeah, but unfortunately, my other original controller, I took that apart.
As you can see, this particular NES needs a little cleaning.
That's the sad part. I cleaned it already. It's got some yellowing. Like, there's something you can do, some mixture of chemicals you can do to take that off. But, I mean, I'm afraid I'll mess it up or do something. And I took this thing apart to clean in the 72-pin connector, which, you know, the cartridges plug into.
Right.
And taking it apart was easy, but putting this thing back together was murder. Everything, all the holes lined up for all 6 screws, everything was fine, but it just would not. I just couldn't get a good tight fit on it. And finally, I just had to force the screws in, and I guess that's fine. It's been working fine. I don't have any problems loading the cartridges in or anything, but I've heard that if you take apart a Nintendo system, like, be ready for battle, because like once you take them apart, especially the later ones, it's almost impossible to get them back together because they just like boing, like springs pop out, it's something like that. It's hard to get it back to the factory way it was.
Right.
That's why I haven't messed with my 64 opening that thing up, because that thing resets randomly and I don't know what's going on, and I'm afraid to take that thing apart because
the springs up in there.
I mean, you never know what's going to pop out at you. What am I finding that thing? But I guess I'll have to get it working properly. I don't want to buy another one. But, I mean, with the NES, you can, for a reasonable price. This isn't my original one I had growing up. Unfortunately, I lost that in a move. Still makes me mad to this day. But a friend gave this to me, and he said he picked it up for like $50 off of eBay.
Right. Which
is not bad.
So is that what they're retailing for if you wanted to get one now?
I mean, it depends on where you go, to be honest with you, because some sites have warranties and they don't say it, but you're really paying for that in the price itself. Right. You know what I mean? But, I mean, usually, I've seen them go from like $40, like $50 to all the way to complete box sets to like, $4.99, $99, like on Amazon.
Right.
And it just all depends on where you go.
Or $2 at a yard sale if you can find it.
Yeah, flea markets, yard sales. It's getting kind of hard now, though. Maybe 10 years ago it'd be easier to stumble across all this stuff, but now you're finding more like, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, original Xbox. You don't find the older stuff that you used to, unfortunately. But when you do, unfortunately, it's priced way high. I saw Castlevania 3 at a flea market out in Iowa for $54.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, if you're a hardcore collector, yeah, go for it. But you can find it cheaper online somewhere.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. And all these games I've pretty much picked up recently have all been underneath. The most expensive one was $20. And I felt kind of bad buying it for that, but for the game it was. I was like, why not?
Why not?
Battletoads. I'll admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was worth it.
20 ain't bad.
No, I mean everything else has been like $7.99, $6.99, which is still probably pricey if you go to flea market or thrift store. But the place where I go to get them, at least I know I can take them back,
right,
and get a refund, or they'll clean them up some more or look at my system. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll pay that little bit of money just to make sure I have some kind of insurance with it. But
always good to have insurance.
it is, especially with older systems. I'm telling you.
Because you never know.
Especially like when we get to the Dreamcast, when we start talking about that. Luckily, the one you gave me, this guy gave me one. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Free,
yeah. Drop that, free. But I mean, when you get to older stuff like that, and that's why I'm so worried about 360s and the original Xbox. I mean, they have like moving parts. It's not just like a cartridge you just plug in, slam, hit the power button. I mean, how easy is it going to be to get replacement parts for those in the future? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess it will adjust accordingly, like it has with this. You can go out and get a, the 72-pin connector for like $10.
Yeah.
As long as I guess you know where you're looking. But I don't know. Stuff like that worries me in the future. That's why I like the older stuff. It's it's kind of like an old car. If it doesn't work, you just beat on it. Eventually, the thing will work.
Yeah.
So that's why, like in 10 years from now, how do you think your Xbox One's going to be running?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I mean, it could run good. It could be like a brand new system still.
I would say the Xbox One probably good. 360s I'd be more worried about.
Yeah, I think that.
Because since the Xbox One is designed to have the cable boxes plugged into it, it's designed to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas 360 didn't have that in mind.
Well, I think Microsoft learned a lot from the 360 Red Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, and when they first designed the 360, it was just going to be a game console. And then later on down the road, then they decided to start doing Netflix and
all the others. Yeah, and that's true. Yeah.
Consoles ended up staying on a lot longer than people anticipated.
Started overheating, bad stuff happening. Yeah. But luckily, my 360 still works with a thorough cleaning, like every 6 months.
Yeah, you gotta take that bad boy apart and blow it out. Luckily, it's one of the easiest consoles to take apart.
Yeah, I was really intimidated when I first sat down to do it, but it was kind of fun to open it up and just look at the brains, the innards of that whole thing. It was pretty cool. And actually taking out the disk drive, taking that out and just dusting it and stuff, it's pretty cool. And it is pretty easy. But anyways, Nintendo. There's a lot of good games. And like I said, the max I pay is $20. You can get them, of course, lower than that or more than that, depending on what you want. There's super rare games out there, a lot of them. Unfortunately, they're just so expensive. Ones that you would actually want to play, but is it really worth the $500 for it or $150? And that's the funny thing though is you go online.
I'd be damned if I pay $150.
They better come like box, instructions, original case, sealed. I want the original stamp of how much it was, like in 1988. You know what I mean?
And a prostitute better deliver it.
I mean, that'd be fine. But it better be well worth it. That's why I think it's funny people are still selling these box sets for $500, $600. I mean, you can find them. The original Rob launch from New York, which was released a little bit before the nationwide launch. It was like a test.
Right.
If you can find a box set of that you can prove is from the New York launch, that goes for like $1,000+. Yeah, so I mean, there's hardcore collectors out there that want that stuff. I'm just more or less interested in playing the game, to be honest with you. So, but you got a little game over there. Fond memories of.
A little Nemo.
I actually picked up because he recommended it.
Yeah, it's my joint. It's kind of like a lot like Super Mario, really. You're just walking around, jumping and bouncing on stuff. And but you can get little suits like Mario. Yeah,
you have to throw candy at these animals 3 times, and then they fall asleep.
And then they become your suit.
Then you just jump on them, and they magically become your suit.
Yeah, it's a bumblebee, a gorilla.
Yeah, the gorilla.
The mole.
The mole. Of course, you dig.
Yeah.
What was the first one? Oh, a
gecko.
Frog, or like a what?
The gecko.
Oh yeah, gecko. Oh yeah, the gecko. Yeah. And then it was like that frog that made you swim faster in the water or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad you turned me on to that because it's a pretty fun game. I remember growing up all the time seeing that in the back of comic books.
Yeah.
I would see him on the back cover. I never played it. But I knew Capcom made it. I knew they made Mega Man, so I was like, oh, they gotta be good. It's gotta be good. And yeah, it's a pretty fun game. Once you get into it, I had a heck of a time.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get to this.
Using that bumblebee suit, baby.
Yes, man. If you're a bee, you should be able to fly constantly. End of story. But it's a rough game. I don't know. Our kids are spoiled to how easy some of these games we are today. Checkpoints. Are you sure you want to do this? It saves automatically. Well, here's a tutorial. Move your left stick. I mean, everything glows.
Plus, you got difficulties. A lot of games back in the day didn't even have difficulties. There was one difficulty.
Oh,
the game.
The game, yeah. The options was like the sound test or like that was it. And that reminds me, when I was growing up, Flying Warriors. I hope people out there have heard of this game. I rented it and had no idea what to do. No idea. I tried reading the back of the Blockbuster book, where they had to print it out and everything.
Right.
Didn't know what to do. So I saw it in the store and I picked it up and I was like, oh man, Flying Warriors. Should I? And I picked it up and I started playing the game. And of course, now that I'm older and wasn't just trying to rush through everything, I want to fly. I want to be a warrior.
Right.
It's a fighting game mixed with like kind of like Kung Fu. It's like Kung Fu meets a really primitive Street Fighter almost, because you start out as a character in a dojo, and it's the characters are up close, and it tells you when you see a little red dot light up on the enemy, hit the B button.
Yeah.
And you punch, and then when you see a red dot on you, you hit forward on the control pad, and then you block. But if they throw a punch and you block, if you hit down A, B, and A, you can throw them. So when I was little, I didn't, catch on to any of that at all. I was just button mash or whatever, let's get this over with.
Right.
And now that I've actually started playing this game, wow, I wish I
had known.
Yeah, because it's a really deep game. And it's really hard, but it's not to the point where you're like throwing down the controller, walking away.
Right.
You want to come back to it. And you level up, and you can unlock new moves. I mean, it's just a deep game. And I had no idea back then. But I'm right in the middle of this game, literally. And right now I'm stuck on a boss that I do not know what to do. I refuse to go to YouTube to look it up, because I know if I do, I might do that for the rest of the game. And there's no point in doing that. I just might as well just put it away. But I'll have a status update on this game throughout periodic episodes. Just
look forward to it.
Yeah. But and another game that people, I'm sure everybody hopefully remembers is Punch-Out. Remember Punch-Out?
The original.
It's not Mike Tyson's.
Right.
Unfortunately.
The original.
It's the classic series.
It says right on it, the original.
I mean, where does it say that?
Well, bam!
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, well, there ain't no Mike Tyson in this.
And on the side. Boom.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
The original.
The original. They lied. I don't see Mike Tyson in this. But, and this box game came with instruction manual, game, case, box, and decent save, only $7.
Can't beat
goes to
that.
show. I mean, like I said, it's the classic series, like the re-release, like the 1 million seller or whatever.
Right.
But, everything came out. They had Off-Road. Remember Off-Road? Like you said before, Tetris, Kung Fu, Mario.
I spent a lot of time playing Zelda and Ninja Turtles, so...
Zelda was a game that...
Zelda 1 and 2.
That game was awesome. I remember powering up for the first time and hearing the dun dun. And it was like the waterfall, and it was like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
It was epic. Like, that was the first game I was like, wow, I'm getting ready to venture off into somewhere. And then I played the second one, and I was like, I don't know about this game. I don't know if I like that. It was completely different than the first one, but it still had a gold cartridge. So
they were both great games.
Yeah, that might be one I have to pick up again, just to try it now that I'm older and willing to have more patience.
My favorite Zelda was Link to the Past on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, we'll cover that in the next episode. But yeah, no, that was really my favorite one too. That's probably gotta be my favorite, and then Ocarina of Time. Mm-hmm. Because when that came
out, the Game Boy one, Link's Awakening, was really good.
I never had that, and I wanted it so bad, but I never got it. I used to read about Nintendo Power and just be like, wow, I want that game so bad.
Yeah.
But I never got it.
Link's Awakening was that shiz.
Yeah. It was like a giant whale or something at the end. Like in that egg.
I don't even know if I ever beat it. I just remember playing it.
Playing it, yeah.
And enjoying it. I've always owned handhelds, and I buy a bunch of games for them and then don't spend much time playing them. Because I'm always at home around my home console.
Yeah, that's true. It's really no need.
It's like, why am I going to sit in the chair and power up my handheld when I've got my console right here?
Yeah. You know, it's funny, too, that now that you mention that, I think about it, I think my parents got me a Game Boy because we were always, my dad was in the military, so we moved all the time. Or we were doing road trips, so it just kind of kept me quiet and in check.
Yeah.
God bless them.
God bless them, and God bless America.
America. But, what else? I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, the games themselves. There was so many franchises, and this is when a lot of companies came into their own. Capcom, Konami, Sunsoft. There was a lot of companies that, I guess you would say, sharpened their teeth, making these games for this early system. And then it was cool just to see them over the years when new technology came out, how they advanced and adapted and utilized.
Capcom was definitely in their prime.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Mega Man, of course. Like
Nemo,
all 6 of them or 8 of them.
Willow over there.
Willow, yeah. You knew when you saw Capcom.
And that Nintendo seal of quality.
I'm just saying.
Those two things together meant good times.
I don't know. Some of these I want to ask them, like, really? You guys put that stamp on there? Did you guys even play this game? Like, is it just me or? But there's a lot of good games. A lot of them were, I guess, new. I guess they were all pretty much new. Maniac Mansion.
Oh, I love that game.
Did you? Yeah. Did you put the hamster in the microwave?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that was a good game. There's so many games, and that's the sad thing is, I remember bits and pieces growing up about it, but then as soon as I see that screenshot or hear that music, like Kid Icarus, I heard the theme song from that the other day. It brought me back to Texas, like '87. I was little. I can't believe I remember that. You know what I mean? I was only like 4 years old.
You were back in action.
It was, boy. I remember that's when I ran that game when I was playing with my G.I. Joe and hanging my G.I. Joe out the car window. My mom was driving, and I dropped the G.I. Joe, and she told me, "You're going to drop it out the car," and I did. Did we turn around and get it? No. No, we didn't. But we did go to Blockbuster to make me feel better. And rented Kid Icarus. I remember that. Yeah.
Would have been easier to just stop and get it.
I know, right? But, whatever. I'll take it.
I was teaching you a lesson.
I guess so. I'm glad my dad wasn't driving. I would have got nothing. But,
yeah. It's dad's for you.
Tough love. I'm all about it.
All right, so overall, great console on the classic controller frag scale.
The standard 5?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 5 all the way.
All the way?
All the way. Yeah. You just can't... The amount of... The library of games, the variety, if you can put up with the pixelated graphics, the mono sound...
And having to blow into your cartridges.
Numerous times. And just walking away eventually because it won't work. But then when you do come back and do it one time it works, you'll be happy. But, the games... blowing into the system, yeah. But they're readily available. You can find them just about anywhere online. That is, but good luck. Like I said, if you go to a flea market or a garage sale, you probably have better luck at a garage sale than you would a flea market.
Yeah, definitely.
It's probably grand folks just throwing away, their kids' systems or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
But
so that's the NES. Next episode.
Well, Super Nintendo. Yeah.
So you could be looking forward to that. Like I said, next week we'll be doing
the actual episode.
Yeah, one of our regular episodes on the current news, game, and events. And then after that, we'll be back here again doing our third retrospect. And like Matterafact said, next one will be on the Super Nintendo. Mm-hmm. Followed by the 64?
I guess we could. We could stick with the Nintendo family.
all
Because
the
then we
way.
could do 64,
Or we could do
GameCube.
or we could do Nintendo, then Super Nintendo, and then Master System and Genesis. Could probably do Master System and Genesis all in one episode.
We probably
Because there's
could,
not a lot to
yeah.
say about the Master System, really.
Oh, don't say that.
It's really not.
I mean, I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but you gotta give it. I mean, technically, the Sega Master System was way more advanced than Nintendo.
That's why it was the Master System.
I mean,
But it also had way less games and way less people bought it.
I know, and that's what's so sad because they had a lot of good arcade games that came out. Like you had Space Harrier. They even released.
Save it for the Sega
All right,
episode.
I'm sorry. All right, we will.
It's been a great episode. We will catch y'all next time.
Frag Tag Radio.